How much money do you need for an e-commerce business? Tricky. Now, first thing is obviously stock. I better just explain it how we did it for 10 years because that's my basis of my knowledge. So stock is everything. How much money do you need for an e-commerce business? I wouldn't approach this from I want to make 60,000 or 100,000 or I want to make $1 million. You need to just start this the other way around. So you need to be able to buy your stock. And then I've seen various people go, well, that's all the money I need because as I sell the stock, it'll pay for the next stock. Well, that's all very well and good. But if, say you've got 20,000, you've got 20,000 pounds worth of stock, and you sell half of it, you've got 10,000 to replenish your stock, and your profit is going to go to your overheads. And you're never going to get out of this cycle because let's say 20,000, you turn it over 3 times. It's 4 times in a year, so 80,000. How much you're going to make if you're left with say 10%? So 80,000 pounds, you've got 8 grand, and then you've got overheads. You've got salaries, staffs, Google ads, Google ads. What I realized was you can never have enough money. You can't have enough. You want as much money as you can get your hands on. And I'll explain why. You want to be able to buy, you need to have abundant stock. Never be overstocked, but you need enough so that you never run out of stock. So it's a priority. That's why I've given it 3 arrows. And I've done here because your stock should rotate. You need money for overheads. You should start this off, assuming you haven't got infinite money. You don't want an office. You don't want anything that you don't have to have. So do this out of your kitchen table. So you can then put some of your house electricity, your mobile phone, don't buy a laptop, use your existing. You want to spend 0 money on overheads, 0. You want 0 salaries to yourself. You may have to take on a staff member. Don't take them on full time. Hire a contractor to do X many hours. Do not commit to a monthly salary. To start with, you need them on trial. You need them on contract. You need to test them and they need to test you if you need staff. Possibly go get remote staff that are cheap because they're working out of Bangladesh or wherever. Your salary is 0. Whatever you do, if you borrowed money from family and friends or even had a bank loan, you cannot pay yourself. For the first, indefinitely, you are not taking money out of this business. I said again, for an indefinite period, you are not taking money out of this business. If you have limited money, every single pound needs to go back into stock, into expanding. All your money, the only marketing, the only sales for an e-commerce business from a website should be spent on Google ads. The only time that you have should be spent on Google ads and your website, on converting customers. There is no excuse for anything broader than Google ads. You should spend $0 on marketing when you're starting. 0. Zero, zero, zero. You should not have any cars, any luxuries, you should not be buying yourself anything with this startup money. Every single pound goes into stock and into your Google ads. Refine these every single day. Someone should be spending 3 to 4 hours a day on testing, refining Google ads. Google ads, what it is, it's the Amazon River, right? Picture a river that you can't see the other side of, and all your money is the water flowing. What you have to do in Google ads is build a dam. You're building a dam across the Amazon River, and you are letting through the only dollars. You need to be in complete control of every dollar Google Ads spends. Every single dollar. Do not let Google Ads run riot with your money, because it will. Google Ads is literally the Amazon River with your money. And every time it passes point A to B, your money's gone. I've been there, I've tried it, I've done it. They can spend every single penny you offer them. Every single penny. There is no limit to their money they'll take from you. And there's no audit trail. There is no audit trail on Google Ads if you let them. So first of all, you build a huge dam, and then you let through, I'll do a huge video on Google Ads on everything I learned. You let through what you want in Google Ads. You have to be so specific on where they spend your money, because they'll spend every single penny if you let them. I won't go too crazy on that. So your stock and your Google Ads. You will have some overheads, like the website. So if you're using Shopify, it's the monthly subscription. If you've got some apps within the Shopify, you'll be paying for those. You do not put any money or spend any money on anything else. You're trying to make this happen, this swirly wheel. So when the stock comes in, it tops up, not replenishes stock, as in you haven't gone to zero. You need to be in stock all the time and working on this metric of how many do you need and how frequently do you need to order it. That is the key to your success, because I've mentioned before, your sales are momentum driven from your site. If you go out of stock, you lose all momentum. I've said it in a previous video, and I'm saying it again. It is so key that you remain in stock and you vary those prices to keep up that nice momentum of stuff going out the door. Then you can build in, if you eventually need an office. And I say eventually because it is when you eventually need an office. When you'll never pay yourself. Forget it. This is zero forever. Staff, you'll need to pay them. I'll do a whole video on staff. Google Ads. Every day you need to work on this metric. And whoever's running this company needs to know this. If you aren't analytical and don't enjoy Google Ads, don't bother set up e-commerce. Forget Facebook ads, forget all the others. Google Ads is the only one you should be looking at. And it's only the Google shopping ads you should be doing when you start. Marketing, zero spend. Cars, luxuries, I'll buy this, that, and the other. No, you won't. Zero. This is if you want to be in business in 2 years' time or 1 year's time. So why? Right. Because you need your revenue, your sales, to be as large as possible. Let's put it this way. If you sell £10,000 worth of stuff and you make 10%, right? That's 10,000, right? To spread across your costs. Now let's take it to you do 1 million in sales and 10%. So that's 100,000 you get to spend across these. Now let's go to 10 million. 10% is 1 million. suddenly these are easily covered, but it's the same margin, just a bigger sales number. What you need is here's your sales. This is like a dollar amount. You need that to grow. And here's your cost base, right? You need that to shrink. So in the UK, you're immediately up against it because there's only so much of your product people need to buy in any one day. You know, if you really break this down. So in the world of baby equipment, the number of pushchairs purchased each day is limited because there's only so many babies born. I think it's 600,000 babies born a year. So 600,000, let's say, pushchairs. So that'll be 2 or that'll be 20 a day or something like that. So there's a limited number of sales on pushchairs, say. So that's why you need lots of products because there'll be, it's say 2 pushchairs a day and it's 1 car seat and it's some togs and this, that and the other. So the more products you can expand into, the greater your sales number. And then because it's not, your cost base is not proportional, your cost base will decrease. Amazon, when they started, reported no profits for, 20, 30 years. And that's because Jeff Bezos, he obviously understands this argument. Maximum revenue, minimal overheads, and 0 salary. And eventually, this part is so small, this is your overheads, and your revenue is so large that even a small margin is millions of pounds in profit. And that's where the big guys kill the little guys. Because if this was 100,000 and you need to make 20,000 to pay, for life, you're blown out of the water by the bigger companies who can just undercut you at every stage because their relative cost base is so much smaller. So stock, let's say I was buying £50,000 worth of stock as a starter. I would not start the business without 100,000. Just wouldn't start. Let's say, I don't think there's any hard and fast number to guide this on, but you need as much money as possible. And if you don't think you can get a multiple of your first stock order, you're never going to make it. And the other way, let's look at it. If you do want to do it in terms of I need to make X, right? So you got $1 million. Most businesses in the end gravitate to between 5 and 10%, right? So 10% profit is 100,000 on $1 million. And let's say you can turn your stock over 4 times a year. So that's 250k in stock. You sell it 4 times a year. This is what we found. We found stock turned over about 4 times per year. So you've got sales of 1 million and you're going to be left with 100,000. And to do that, you need 250,000 in stock. How's that for some numbers for you? And that is pretty much what we saw in the baby industry in the UK. But what you really want is that, and that 2.5 million. That's what you really want. Because then your cost base is shrinking. Those are the metrics. That's how I look at it. I'd be surprised if any industry was particularly different. Because if there is more than 10%, you will have competitors coming in and driving it down, and driving it down and driving it down until it is 10%. So if you can find an industry, I know recently the LED world, the bulb, that was a whole new industry, and margins were coming in, I think, around the 40%. And they'll be coming down 100%, because not 100%, but those margins will be coming down. I know the drone industry did well, because again, new products, any new sector, if you're going to start an e-commerce business, that's the one to get into, because you might be able to make 40% at the outset before it is driven down to 10%, and it will be. And then you need to be just as big as possible. Don't stop. You cannot stop your growth. As if you're running this, if you're setting this up, you cannot sit on, your $1 million turnover or your 100,000 turnover or whatever the number is. I'm having to just pick numbers. You need 10 million, 20, 30, 40, 50. You need to then expand horizontally if everyone's bought all the pushchairs they need. You need to then be selling other stuff, new industries, drones, LEDs, because you've got to decrease that overheads, which should happen when you increase that revenue. Bigger and bigger and bigger. I think that's covered everything. These bits are crucial. Zero spend, zero on you. Staff, yes. Google Ads, yes. Minimal overheads. Put it all into the stock. That's it.